everyone. Happy Thursday and welcome for another live stream here with Atlanta Film Festival. My name is Karen Ceesay and I've been moderating all of the interviews every Thursday night at 7 o'clock. You're probably watching us either on YouTube or live streaming on Facebook. So we wanted to say thank you and welcome. Just to start off, just a reminder, the Atlanta Film Festival that would have already been in the past now is actually in September. So the new dates for the 45th annual Atlanta Film Festival are September the 17th through the 27th. And today, June 4th, is the hella early deadline. So if you that type of person that's hella early and you like hella low rates, then this would be your deadline. I hope you're already ready because today is the deadline, June 4th. But if you want to know when the upcoming other deadline, the just early deadline, or the regular deadline, or the late deadline, then you need to go to our website, atlantafilmfestival.com or org. Look at me, I can't remember. You'll know, just Google Atlanta Film Festival. You can still get your badges on sale. They're on sale. We've got 2-year membership deals going on as well. So make sure that you check out the website and stay abreast of all the information. As we know, 2020 has been the ever-changing year. So just keep yourself up to date and stay posted. Next week's interview, just to plug it, we will be talking about how to tell a true immigrant story. As you know, we have a number of the filmmakers that have been accepted into the festival, and we're just chatting with them, finding out a little bit about them, their past, what brought them to filmmaking, and a little bit about their project that has been accepted into the festival. Oh my goodness, is it raining? Right, I just heard everything, okay. So tonight, look at that. On my side, it's raining. I see that rain is usually blessings. So your introduction is blessed. Adelaide Tai is our guest this evening, Adelaide Tai. She is a multimedia artist and she's based here in Atlanta, Georgia. And her work explores the balance between unrestrained nature and human interference. She is curious about how simply the lens with which we consume our environment shapes our growth and the stories we tell. So please, if we could just welcome Adelaide Tai to tonight. Yay, I know we don't hear applause anymore. Is there an applause thingy here, reaction? I'll give you a thumbs up. There we go. Right?
Wow, thank you. Thank you.
So why don't you just tell us a little bit about yourself and your background as a multimedia artist?
Okay, well, I was born in Ohio. I lived in West Virginia, but I grew up in Georgia. And I was always involved in art in some form, but I never really saw it as being a potential career path for me. Both of my parents are very musical and artistic, but they both had careers in non-creative fields. So I went to school for international affairs and I was thinking maybe I'd go into politics or something. I really wanted to make a difference in the world. And I thought that maybe going into law or public policy would be the fastest, easiest way to do that. But after interning in Baltimore at the Juvenile Justice Monitoring Unit, I realized that my path would probably be in something else other than government work. So after I graduated, while I was actually still in school, I started interning at an art museum in Italy and realized that there are so many other ways to be involved in the art world other than just being an artist. So I was still like, I don't think I can be an artist, but I can still be around art all the time. So I was like, maybe I'll be a curator, maybe I'll sell art and work in galleries. So I did that for a while, and then worked as an art consultant for a commercial art company for a little while, and finally just left everything. And I didn't really have a plan, but I had enough saved for like 3 months to survive, and I didn't know what I wanted to do next, but I started getting commission after, like every month I would get enough to survive and pay rent. So I was like, okay, I'm just gonna do this until I need to get a regular job again. And then I just didn't have to go back. And then I had always been making music after college. And I started my project, Lady Clementine's Fantastic Party, sometime around then when I left my regular 9-to-5 job as well.
So what was it like when you first said, no, I am done with the 9-to-5 life. This is me. I'm making this pursuit. I'm jumping.
Well, you cut it out a little bit, but I'm guessing what was I thinking when I left the 9-to-5 life? There you go. I can hear you, I think.
Okay. I think something's going on. I'm going to take out my AirPods.
Okay.
Because I think something is going on with the weather or something, right? So we'll just talk like this. All right.
Okay.
Rewind. Okay. Right. So your big push into, making the decision. What was your support system like? How was that?
I didn't really talk to a lot of people about it. I was just internally coming to the conclusion myself that I had tried to be normal and like do normal things, even if it was like on the edge of normalcy, and it just really wasn't working for me, and I was so drained. So it came to a point where it didn't really feel like an option for me. It was like, I'm gonna die if I don't do something. So I just left, and it wasn't like a decision to start being more creative or like, I'm gonna be an artist now or I'm gonna be a musician now. It was just like, I am just gonna get my head right for a minute, and getting my head right meant doing these creative pursuits.
So you were on your own. You weren't living with your parents or anything at the time when you made the decision.
Yeah, I was after
college and everything.
Yeah.
So, well, how was that? How was your upbringing as an artist then? If your parents were artists but still had the regular job, did they talk about what they wanted to do and that they had to do this, or did you sense anything that they were conflicted about their choices?
I don't know that they were conflicted, because I don't know that they had seen a creative path as an option either, that they were kind of like weighing between or had pressure to be one way or the other consciously. And I also think that what both of them are doing and were doing do really fulfill them in a lot of ways, and they are living out their purpose, but they just also happen to have this really creative side too. So I thought that even if someone's really talented and had gifts that are worth sharing with the world, it doesn't mean that they could not necessarily make a living from doing it.
Yeah. So how did they respond now and seeing you, we all, success is defined so oddly in so many different ways in the art industry. How do they see what you're doing now, and how do they respond?
I think that they're really excited about it. I was talking to my partner the other day, because it's funny. Sometimes I'm like, oh, I wish my dad would tell me that he likes the work that I'm doing more or something. And we were over at his house the other day, and he had on his playlist, and it was like all this jazz and like random like old music that he likes. It's really good, but it's like, not smart music, and then every like 5 songs would be one of my songs from the Clementine season EP. And I was like, he likes it, but I would never know.
Right.
So I think that they're like secretly proud and excited that I'm doing what brings me so much happiness. My dad was definitely nervous when it was clear that I couldn't make it in the regular real world and that I had to do art. He was like, it's really hard. Like, it's really hard to make money on music. It's hard to make money as an artist. And then when I started doing it, he was like, oh, okay. And I could tell him every time I make, $5 even on streaming royalties or something. I'm like, see, you can make money doing creative things.
Right. So you do both music and, physical art, I guess. You do a lot of different things. So how did that develop? Because you're coming out of the art museum world, but you also have the music side. Did they develop simultaneously, or did one kind of foster a little bit more, and then do they go back and forth?
Yeah, so I've always been into music and singing. I was in musical theater when I was younger. We talked about before, always being involved in Shakespeare and like theater and that kind of thing. But I lost a lot of that music side of that musical expression through college. I didn't have any instruments that I was really working with throughout college. And it wasn't until after I graduated that I kind of came back to it and started hanging out in Atlanta more, and I kind of fell into a creative scene with a bunch of musicians. So I was actually starting to write more. I didn't play any instruments. And then I started singing backup with a music project in Atlanta, and we would write together, and it would be songs that I was writing, but I was like way too shy to sing lead. And then that project ended, and I was like, I guess if I want to keep doing this, then I have to figure out how to play an instrument or like find somebody to play with. And I'm pretty shy and like introverted, so figuring out how to do it on my own was like top priority. And then I was also doing like jewelry making, but I wasn't painting yet. I was just like working with stones and metal, and I would do like wardrobe styling for the bands. So I'd bring jewelry and set up at shows and help with photo shoots sometimes. So that was kind of like my visual art expression.
So, and all of this was in Atlanta, pretty much. So how have you felt that Atlanta has expanded you as an artist? What have you been exposed to that are typically Atlanta things?
Well, I can't really compare it to any other American cities, but from the feedback that I get from artists moving here, it's just a very collaborative, like not cutthroat, competitive, like super academic scene in Atlanta, which is nice and approachable for me as someone who didn't go to art school or music school.
Yeah, I think that's one of the stories a lot that's lost about Atlanta and Georgia as a whole. We were talking about this with Danielle Deadweiler last week, is how people from the outside looking in, especially if you're looking through the lens of politics from the outside, you have a different kind of a misconception of what is here in Atlanta and what is available in Atlanta. But wherever I go, I find someone that's got some relative in Atlanta or has been through Atlanta or used to live in Atlanta. And some people, this is their vibe, and some people it's not. But it's such a big city that's growing, that has so many things going on. I feel like everybody kind of has a little place here, right?
Definitely. It feels like a real city, but a small town feel.
Right. It's a big modern city, but it still is a Southern, hospitality.
And it's somebody that when you go to your favorite restaurant or like go to the park.
Right. So about what year did you move to Atlanta? That was, 2012 or something?
It would have been, I think around 2012.
So you've been here during the growth spurt, like where it's been, a real growth in terms of, just development at a high pace. What have you noticed that's changed just from you coming here?
I'm sure everyone says traffic, but that's a big one.
Man, I was out today. It's like nothing ever happened. It's like everybody's
like the olden days.
It's like I was, supposed to be going somewhere with my family. We're like, is there a rush hour? What's going on? Like, do we go? I don't know. I'm like, why is there traffic there? I'm like, that's why everybody's so uptight right now. They've been in the house all this time. They just look for excuses to be out, right? So, what would you like to see? How would you like to develop more here as an artist? What types of things would you like to work on?
Well, I have been trying not to make plans lately and just kind of, like you can't make plans anyway, but it happens to just go really well with the lessons I'm trying to learn on a personal level as well, of just kind of seeing what I'm inspired to make and seeing what I'm inspired to offer and how I'm sort of called to show up and be supportive however I can. And I don't know what that's going to look like in a month or 2 months. I just try to go with the flow and like see what happens and see what I need to do. So I don't know. I think there is really a need for more community space in Atlanta, and I'm hopeful but also wary of the development. Like a lot of it's great, but there definitely needs to be space for artists and creatives and people of color and queer community to gather and continue making the city great, because we've contributed so much to the culture here.
Well, that seems like a nice segue. There's been so much going on, and Atlanta has been in the spotlight so much just with these protests. It's been in the spotlight just politically. It's been in the spotlight a lot. There's a number of places we can go. First, you have an international affairs background. How is this playing with some people that outside of the country? How are they looking in? Are people contacting you about what's going on? What is going on in Atlanta?
Yeah, I haven't had a lot of those conversations with even family members that are outside of the country right now, just because there's so much, there are so many conversations happening here, like just in Atlanta, that need to be addressed, and like support that needs to happen. So I haven't really started getting people's feedback or thoughts from outside of just the everything going on.
Yeah.
Here. But yeah, I went to school for international affairs because I wanted things to change, and I was very upset about how the world, and particularly America, operates. And from my experience in school and through internships and just observations being alive, I saw that you can be an effective change maker, policy maker, if you have a lot of patience and like you're willing to play the game, sort of, at least like when I was looking at that as a career option. But it really requires a lot more attention and like a lot more participation from people outside of that. So all of the change is necessary and overdue.
Right. And it's, we're kind of known for civil rights. And right now, Black people are in the forefront right now. Mm-hmm. But Atlanta is really a place where, of course we know that Black people are here doing well and have been in political positions, but we still know that there's a difference, that there's a discrepancy with regards to treatment. Mm-hmm. But also the LGBTQIA community is major here. Women here in Atlanta who are business owners and, again, artists are we're our entrepreneurs as well. We're our own business. How do you think art and politics can really connect, and how, where's Atlanta's place in this, in the conversation?
Yeah, there's so much there. I think, wow, I just looked outside my window and it's raining here too. We're probably not far from each other. There's a rainbow like across my whole.
It is pouring, and I'm like a kid because I'm like, what's that? What's that? What's that? Right?
Yeah. Well, I think throughout history, like particularly during the civil rights movement, and even now, And even when things are quiet, people look at Georgia, look at the South, look at Atlanta, and they are able to kind of be like, oh, look at Atlanta, look how much racism you have there, look how shitty your society is, look how backwards everything is. But it's really just like the dynamics of the entire country on steroids. Like, we have everything. Like, it's like a high pressure zone, because we do have a mix of all of these different dynamics playing out that are the same everywhere, but they're just more on display here because we have more dense population and like this history.
And I mean, it really is a place of where the old meets the new. Like, it's the new South and the old South all together. You know, I say we've got all the queens. We've got beauty queens, drag queens. You know what I mean? We've got everyone here. And so what do you think, like, where you grew up in Ohio? How long were you in Ohio?
I don't have any memories of Ohio. Yeah, I have like a few memories of West Virginia, but mostly Georgia.
Mm-hmm. And were you in like a more conservative area or more liberal, or?
Very conservative. I grew up very, very conservative. Like, I have no pop culture references pre, I don't know, 19 or maybe 2000. 2000 is like when my pop culture references.
It all came open, like music comes on.
And that, like 2005, I don't know. Yeah.
So are you talking to any people, that you know in your conservative life, that and how they're reacting to what's going on now?
Not really, to be honest with you. I haven't been in that conservative community for so long. I'm not even really friends with any of them on Facebook, or like, we don't even have a surface level relationship anymore. I think more the conversations I'm having are with friends and family who do consider themselves progressive, liberal-minded people who need a little bit more understanding of what's been going on, and like how to show up in a more supportive way to help with change and progress.
So what have been some of your conversations? Because I'm just loving, I had a, I'm in a writers group. It's an all-female writers group, and it's 3 white women, 2 black women. And we had a talk yesterday where we were just talking about things. And, one, she's from a conservative place, but with her mom and having discussions and seeing, in her hometown where they're having vigils. And she's like, I never thought I'd see that. Or, it seems like there's something that's clicking this time. For me being my age, it's hard because I'm like, what took so long? Yeah. But, it seems like something has shifted this time. Have you?
Yeah, I think that there's just more willingness. It feels like more willingness from people to just say, oh, maybe my perspective is really just my perspective on this, or like, maybe I'm wrong, or maybe there is another side to the story here. It just feels like before, when it was just a really hard line, it's like reached a tipping point where people don't want to look ignorant, and people don't want to look racist, and it takes more to not look racist now, and that's a good thing. And we were talking about like the blackout, like the black square thing, and I did find myself getting kind of like irritated with some people or organizations that like on this day decide to show up with a black square on their social media, and every other day of their lives, or like every other day in their business, they're not supporting Black people. And it's like, okay, this is annoying, but also they're not cool if they're not supporting Black people on this day. And that still is better than it was before, where they felt like they didn't have to sing it. Anything.
Right, where they didn't have to.
Like if the reason you're not being a racist is because you feel social pressure not to be a racist, like, okay, fine. That's
I'll take it.
Good enough.
I'll take it.
Yeah, I'll take it.
Right. I mean, you know, I'm jaded though. Like I'm a jaded old lady. So I'm like, whatever. You know, it was so funny because the day of the Black Square, right? The day of the Black Square, like I was just like, great, it's something. Everybody just shut up for a minute. And then my son's looking, he's like, no, you're supposed to hi. And I'm like, oh, I gotta do this. And he was just like, no, you're supposed to, it's this. And I'm like, oh, so he didn't know. I'm like, what? Huh?
Yeah, it kept changing.
What?
Yeah.
No. So
changing on that day.
Look, okay.
I didn't
Someone said I can't be older than 36. Is that me?
You.
Thank you. Okay, I appreciate that. Yeah, I told you I'm a Leo. I didn't tell anyone before. I'm a Leo, so narcissism is my go-to. Anyway, so anything that makes me happy, I'm all about that. Okay, well, let's talk about Lady Clementine's fantastic party. I mean, it was awesome. Like, you know, I hadn't even researched you yet. We had talked briefly at the Tech, and I looked at your video, and it just looked so pretty. Like, I'm like, I want to be there.
Thank you.
So where did you guys shoot?
We actually shot in Chamblee and some on Beaufort Highway. So this is a 2-song video, like a clip of one song and a clip on the end of another. East Coast is about Beaufort Highway. So we shot on Beaufort Highway.
See, I was on Beaufort Highway today, but I didn't see all that luxury.
Yeah, we actually caught that festival on the last day that it was open. It was a surprise, that we got to shoot there.
So did you find so how did the roles break down? Like you've got artistic background and everything. What positions did you hold in this with your crew? Like what did the crew look like? Was it you? Were you the whole crew? No.
No, I could not have done this all myself. But when I started the project, which was maybe about a year before we shot this video, I was just tired of writing and performing like sad songs by myself. And I was like, I just want to have fun. I want to play with a band. I want the audience to have fun. I just want to make people happy and be uplifted. So that was like the initial intention, like the seed that started it. And then when I wrote all the songs and started producing, I came to the studio with a mood board, like a Pinterest mood board with all the visuals, like all the colors that I wanted to come through in the music, like in the songs. So it has a very visual starting point for the project. And once we got to the video, it was just like, this is the first film that I've been involved with. So I can't even say like any technical
right
that I had, except for like, this is what I want to happen. This is how I want it to feel. And I knew that I really, really wanted to work with Miko, my friend, who's also a DJ. She does amazing work. And I've just always wanted to do a project with her. And her team is an Asian production team. So throughout this whole thing, I've just wanted to support and collaborate with my friends and other artists. So that was really important. And I don't know what my role was, except for just like, here's my vision, let's all do it. And we all made it happen.
Well, but that's pretty evident. And that's why I was wondering what it was, because again, I saw your video first and then I saw your website and saw like your watercolors and everything. And it looked the same to me. Like it looked like it was the same. Yeah. So the visual was definitely there. So you submitted to Atlanta Film Festival. Is this the first film festival you submitted to, or how did that process going in?
Yeah, I submitted to a bunch at once. I actually met Krupa at a Pose party, and a Pose like viewing party, and she suggested that I look into submitting the film because we screened the music video before one of the episodes. It's like, oh, okay, cool. Like somebody believes in me. That's cool. So I did it. And then when I was on the website, I saw all the other festivals I could submit to, and I just started submitting.
So how's that been? How's that process been? The submission.
It was fun putting it all together. I really wanted to be a part of the Atlanta Film Festival. Like I can't even tell you the other names that I submitted to. I just knew that it was really important to me getting into this one because we have so many Atlanta artists. Like it was all local Atlanta artists that collaborated on this project. And I felt like it would mean a lot to everyone to be able to share our work with Atlanta.
Do you think that now, since you had a good relationship there, do you think because this was kind of your song that you did the video for, so do you think that this will make another collaborative project, or are you doing that down the line?
Yeah, so since we did this video, we did one other project together with a song of mine called Your Hand in Mine. And I released that actually like at the beginning of the lockdown when everyone was like super lonely and wanting to hug each other. I mean, we still are, but we have even more intense things to occupy our minds. So yeah, I released that, I don't know, in February or March, I guess. And then I just put out another video a couple days ago with another team. Yeah.
So you submit to your first festival, you get accepted, and then it's postponed. Like, how's that? Like, I feel,
yeah, it was a bummer, but really just everything this year, like I said, like I'm just really trying not to hold fast or tight to any plans and be really open to see what's happening, what I'm supposed to learn from everything, and how I can help with everything that's going on. We were supposed to play our first music festival this summer. We had the film festival that I was excited about showing up for. So there were a lot of firsts and big things that were really, really sad to have to cancel.
So do you think, because I don't know what it is, but I swear I've been chilling. You know what I mean? Like, I've just been like, well, I feel like the pressure is off to have to perform and produce. There's a number of things that, certain scripts I wrote that I'm like, can we even do this now? Like, is this even going to be able to be done? But I can't really think about that because you can't control that stuff. But it's just that grind of having to do this. And, I'm an actor and a writer. So there's always this, okay, well, I need new headshots. I need new this. I need new that. I need to be working on my website. I need to. Yeah. And, there was a part of that. But then I'm just like, well, I may paint today. I may not. Right? Do you think the artist lifestyle has kind of made us a little bit better suited to deal with this?
Definitely. We're survivors. We have to be adaptive. And I've really, really had a lot more compassion with myself than I have in like my whole life.
Right. Yeah. I'm like, I've been stressed. Women be stressed. Married. I got a teenage son. It was going off to high school. It was his first year of high school. And it was just, last year was so stressful. So 2020 was my year to be me. I got a big birthday. I'm like, I'm doing me. I'm like, what? You can't be around people. What are you talking about? Like, artists need people, right?
Leos need people.
You know what's funny? I'm way more introverted than I ever realized. I thought I was like 98% extrovert. And I'm like maybe
during your alone time
58%. I'm thinking
see, we're all learning so much about ourselves.
I don't know if it's just old age though. Like if I'm just bored with people and I'm like, whatever, good face cream and lots of concealer. But So are most of your friend group, most of your circle, like your social circle, are they mainly artists?
They're all artists and witches.
I did watch Motherland for Salem, right?
I love it.
If it wasn't for lockdown, I probably wouldn't even have caught that.
I know. We had it, we have this projector, like we have the Seamless back here, and we've been like watching series on the projector. We watch Motherland.
Yeah, I think we're gonna do that. We've been gardening and doing the whole garden thing. So we're just living life in our yard because that's Vacation Central for 2020. So I'm wondering if we have any questions. I'm gonna have to put the glasses back on. See if we have any questions outside the realm. We'll see some come in, but let's see. So what is it about this piece? Let's go back to, since we are talking about the Atlanta Film Festival and Lady Clementine's fantastic party. What did you want to get across in this? Like, what was this? What were you trying to say with this one?
So I wanted to say a couple things, and that's why we did both of the songs. We were trying to pick one, and then we were like, why don't we just do both? I was like, okay, let's do it. So Clementine Season is the title track of the first EP that I released, and the name of the song. And the lyrics are, let me prove myself worthy of your love. That's the chorus. And I wanted that to be the first song on the EP and the first part of the video, because it's the first thing that I put out into the world as Lady Clementine. And it was really important for me as an artist to remember not to demand anyone's love or respect. I think a lot of times artists can fall into their negative ego and demand people's ear, demand people's attention, and feel so rejected when people aren't paying attention, aren't appreciating the gifts that we're offering. And I really wanted to flip that around and like put it into writing, that this is not what this project is about. It's about collaboration and love and respect that I want to earn with the work that I'm doing. So that was the message with Clementine Season, and I wanted to highlight my friends and like all of these different forms of love with my partner, love with my friends. My friend LaRue did the costume design for it, and he did just such an amazing job. He's a local Atlanta queer artist and photographer who's amazing. And then East Coast is a love song for Beaufort Highway. So just like the nostalgia that I have for growing up in the suburbs, but like making trips to Beaufort Highway with my dad and like feeling a part of my culture that I didn't get to experience as much in my community. And then just taking trips there now, and we played out kind of like an ideal date with my real life partner, Tony, and that's how we are in real life, just always playing and having fun.
Yeah. Now, in your bio, we talked about, it says her work explores the balance between unrestrained nature and human interference. Like, how do you, from what you did with, with your project,
Mm-hmm.
how does that play out?
I've never applied this visual artist statement on top of my music. So
what's up? Interference. That's what we're talking about. You got it right there.
Okay, I can do it. I have it.
Okay.
So in one of the phases of my musical artistry, I was really focused on just becoming a channel, like being the channel for whatever needed to come through, whatever, just allowing my voice to be the carrier for whatever frequency or energy needed to get to whoever was listening, no matter what words I was saying, no matter the lyrics. And that was really fun, and it really helped me to like get outside of myself, like step outside of myself and like overcome stage fright. That was my strategy for like getting on stage. And then I moved into, okay, I really actually do want to show up. Like, I really want to experience this with all of my consciousness. I don't want to just go someplace else while I'm performing. So it moved from natural, organic chaos or natural organization, that was channel work, into synthetic constraints. So like the constraints of my body, the constraints of my mind, the constraints of my perceptions, and the interactions that I'm having with the audience, or, you know, whoever is listening. So yeah, I think that's how it's kind of changed. That's how I've kind of like developed it into what it is now. It's more conscious.
Well, and that comes with age too. Like, you know what I mean? That comes with just maturation and learning of yourself, accepting who you are and what you're about. Mm-hmm. And that always develops through our art, especially as artists. We're defined by our art. Mm-hmm. We're the one thing where our product is ourselves, you know? So, it makes sense. It'll continue to change. So, do you have any other music video projects in the works?
Yeah, well, I just released a song a couple weeks ago, actually on my birthday, May 30th, called American Dream. And I made the video public on YouTube a couple days ago also, but I just didn't feel comfortable promoting it right now because there's just a lot more important conversation going on. But yeah, it's there if anybody wants to see it. It's American Dream. It's about sex work and about okay, now I'm getting distracted.
Right. I'm supposed to funnel that. I put the glasses on just so I could read the questions. All right.
I know it. Yeah, but check it out and let me know.
And where can people listen to your music? That's what that says.
Oh, Spotify and Apple Music and YouTube. It's everywhere.
Okay. Now, we were talking about Beaufort Highway. I wish we'd had this question before, but what's your favorite restaurant in Beaufort Highway?
Oh my God. I have so many favorite restaurants. Oh God. I just found this new one, and they make really amazing curry, and now I can't remember the name of it.
Uh-oh. No.
I can like put in the comments all of my favorite spots, but yeah.
Yeah, it's so funny because I mean, when I was in college, I lived on Beaufort Highway, and then the partying afterwards, and so my husband too. And when we were driving up there to go to the farmers market, to everything, we're driving up, and we just remember back then. Oh, so and so used to live at that complex. So and so used to live. Remember, so and so lived there, and so, like everyone lived up Beaufort Highway. So eating up on Beaufort Highway has always been a thing for me. I love it.
Hong Kong is one of my favorites.
Yeah. And my son, he went to China 2 years ago. So that's why today he was like, I want this flour so we can make our steak and we can do this.
That all that Asian food influence is coming from.
He loves it. But then I'm from Philly. So like Chinatown and Chinese food is just, a major part of the culture in Philadelphia. So it's, I took Chinese in high school, and then my son started, taking it in his school and everything, and speaks it. And it's just been fun to see. Mandarin? What do you speak? Do you speak Mandarin? Yes, Mandarin.
That's awesome.
I should know that. Yeah, great. Look, I'm like, we've kind of gone all around and everything, and we are kind of coming to toward the end. But, what types of things, like, do you get an opportunity to talk to younger artists coming up, people that might still be in college or something now?
Well, I haven't been getting out much.
Well, maybe not now, right? Maybe not now. I bet it's like on Instagram.
Yeah. Right. I did a talk I think it was at Emory last year. That was really great and just like really inspiring for me to be there. I think because I never saw myself represented in panels or on TV or in music or whatever when I was growing up. And I mean, that wasn't my motivation for going to speak on this panel, but it's definitely part of the motivation for when I get in my head about something or, feel insecure about releasing music or like showing up. I'm like, okay, but I wanted to see this when I was younger, so I just need to do it. And one of the students came up afterwards and basically told me the same thing, that it was just really comforting to feel seen by seeing representation on a panel. So yeah.
And I think that's what again, when we talk about Atlanta, and we talk about the history of Atlanta, it's really always in black and white, black and white. And Atlanta and Metro Atlanta is such an international city. It's just such a completely integrated and modern, progressive place. And, I'm not one of those, I'm not trying to all lives matter things. You know what I mean? I'm not trying to do that. But with what's going on right now, it's about everyone being heard.
Intersectionality is so important. It's so
right. Yeah, I mean, it's Pride Month, and it's like, we were talking a little bit about how the LGBTQIA community kind of maybe is like, well, we want our voices to be heard too. And then some people like, we're not talking about that right now. We talk about everybody. It's just right now.
Yeah.
Right now. Mm-hmm. But it does need to be everybody, because everybody needs to be seen. So it's not a big thing. It's not a big deal.
We all need to for each other.
So how do you think, like, are you involved in any organizations? Do you, because now it can be on you to reach out to the next gen, each one teach one to the next gen.
Me to reach out to who?
To just, if you were in an organization, I know I always talk about women in film, that I was involved with that and had mentors coming through that, and now I could be a mentor to other people. But have you thought about that, like mentorship, or you're like, man, I'm trying to get my thing together right now, right?
I know. I feel like yeah. I mean, I'm always available to help the younger generation and other artists that want help. I just feel, I guess I have a little bit of imposter syndrome, like showing up that I can teach people how to do things when I'm figuring it out. But yeah, I'm definitely available and want to help people that want to get into this.
Yeah, you got to fake it till you make it, because, if someone is looking to you, it's weird. It's weird a lot of times, because we know who we are and what our journey has been. And then other people see the end point, or where we are right now, and don't understand where our headspace is. So they're coming at you at one way, but just know that you're asked to be there. If you're someone's listening, make sure you know what you're saying.
Yeah. I show up when people call on me.
Exactly. Well, you definitely showed up tonight. We want to thank you so much for talking to us. It was a pleasure talking to you. Love the video. Everyone, we will leave a link to Adelaide's film page in the comments. So check that out. Also, you can go to Atlanta Film Festival's website and find out all information. There was probably, however you got to this live stream, go back there and you'll find out what you need to know, most likely. Want to give a shout out to Justice, Krupa, and Kayvon, who are handling all the things behind the scenes, making everything happen through this torrential downpour, as we have a multitude of studios here. Thank you so much once again. I'm Karen Ceesay. Please tune in next week, 7 p.m., same bat time, same bat channel. We're here chatting it out. Everyone, stay safe, do what you got to do, and we are signing off. Thank you.